Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
And we begin tonight with forewarned weather. Again, Metro Detroit will get a taste of winter, but also a taste of spring, all within a few hours. Glad you're with us tonight for Local 4 News at 11. I'm Devin Skillian.
I'm Kimberly Gill. Let's get over to forewarned meteorologist Kim Adams with a breakdown on what we can expect across the Metro tomorrow. Kim.
Well, it won't be anything like yesterday, but it's the timing of this rain-snow mix that it's a little impactful only because of when it comes in. So let's start with temperatures tonight. The good news is that we had warm air today. We had some sunshine, so the surface warmed up. So when we get that rain-snow mix, most of it will melt on contact. Here we are at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, mostly cloudy skies, but there is some rain that will come up from the south. Now, around 7 o'clock, most of Metro Detroit south of I-94 will see just rain, but it's north of that that could have some wet snow mixed in. Now, again, most of it will melt. The roadways should be fine, but if you live especially north of M59 tomorrow morning, you might get a little dusting on the grassy areas. It's out of here, though, by 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, unless you live north of I-69 up into the Thumb. The rest of Metro Detroit will be dry throughout the rest of the afternoon and into the evening, all the way until Friday when our next system comes in, which we'll talk about in the forecast. But tomorrow, a little wintry mix in the morning, maybe a lingering area of drizzle, but by noon cloudy and hopefully seeing some sun and some very mild air tomorrow afternoon. I'll talk more about Friday's forecast coming up in just a few minutes. But if you'd like to get up to date on all the weather in your neighborhood, plus school closings and much more, just go to the App Store, any app store you like, and type in WDIV and download the Forewarned Weather app.
Okay, Kim. DTE Energy making the final rounds tonight to get power restored to customers.
DTE reporting about 99% of its customers do have power tonight, so that leaves about 17,000, though, still waiting to get their lights back on. 6 days ago, we know 630,000 were left without power after the big ice storm.
Michigan State University is making changes in response to a deadly campus shooting earlier this month. Buildings on campus will now require key card access in the evenings. MSU's police chief made the announcement today at a university council meeting. The chief says access to buildings from 6 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. Monday through Friday will be restricted to Spartan ID cards only. The buildings will be closed on the weekends. These changes begin March 13th. Two other changes coming too: additional cameras on campus and active violent intruder training.
New at 11 tonight, General Motors cutting hundreds of salaried positions to save money and try to boost profit. We take a live look at GM World Headquarters in downtown Detroit. The cuts first reported by the Detroit News include 500 executive level and salary jobs. Other automakers are also downsizing by laying off workers and offering buyouts. CNBC says General Motors claims the cuts are based on performance. Industry experts suggest the layoffs are a result of the impacts and rising costs of electrification.
A Rochester Hills mother making headlines tonight after testifying in front of Congress about how her two sons died from fentanyl poisoning from drugs investigators traced to Mexico. Mara McDonald is live in Rochester Hills tonight. Mara, she testified in front of the House Homeland Security Committee.
Kimberly, that's right today, and the committee is trying to tackle our problems at the southern border, including all that fentanyl flowing into the U.S.
I didn't know that my boys were taking anything that could kill them. They didn't think that they were either.
Rebecca Kiesling's sons thought they had been given Percocet by a drug dealer. It turned out it was fentanyl, and both boys, 18 and 20, died the same day. They had 5 times the amount of fentanyl it takes to kill someone in their system. The House Homeland Security Committee is tackling how to fix our problems at the southern border, including the flow of fentanyl into the U.S.
We need to protect our children. They didn't ask for that. This wasn't demand. They wanted the fentanyl. They didn't want fentanyl. They thought they were getting Percocets.
Kiesling, who is a lawyer and anti-abortion activist, told me testifying may have been tough on her emotionally, but she sees a crisis at our southern border that killed her boys.
You know, we have to secure our border. Again, if it were troops, if there were Chinese troops amassed at our border with weapons of mass destruction, something would be done. We would secure our border really fast.
Back here live, I asked Rebecca, how did she feel that the House committee treated her? She said that both the Republicans and the Democrats treated her well. They offered condolences. I said, do you think they actually listened? And she said, well, that's a little harder to tell. We're live in Rochester Hills tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
We will continue to follow it. Mara, thank you.
The youth hockey doctor accused of sexually assaulting patients faced new counts today. Dr. Villavran was charged with 4 new counts of criminal sexual conduct in an Oakland County courtroom. It brings the total number of charges against the Farmington Hills urologist now to 31. Most of his victims connected to youth hockey organizations. Villavran remains in the Oakland County Jail. The Supreme Court is considering whether President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program is constitutional.
Several conservative justices appeared skeptical of his authority to cancel millions of dollars in federal loans.
Today is a great day to cancel student debt.
High stakes at the High Court as the Supreme Court hears arguments in 2 cases impacting millions of Americans. On Tuesday, justices considered whether President Biden's plan to erase student debt is constitutional.
Some of the finest moments in the court's history were pushing back against presidential assertions of emergency power.
Conservative justices also pointing to the price tag of the loan forgiveness program, an estimated $400 billion over time, according to the Congressional Budget Office, and questioning whether the program is even fair.
What I think they argue that is missing is cost to other persons in terms of fairness, for example, people who've paid their loans, people who don't have planned their lives around not seeking loans, and people who are not eligible for loans.
Some liberal justices also weighing in on what may be fair.
I'm wondering whether or not the same fairness issue would arise with respect to any federal benefit programs.
One of the cases is a challenge from 6 GOP-led states wanting to block Biden's executive actions. The second involves 2 individual borrowers suing because they're not qualified for full debt relief. The Biden administration argued Congress gave it the power to forgive student loans because of financial hardships Americans faced due to the COVID pandemic. An estimated 40 million people qualify for the program, which can forgive up to $20,000 per borrower. And 16 million borrowers could be approved for this debt forgiveness if the Supreme Court upholds the program. 11 years ago, the Melvindale Police Department hired its first female officers, and now they have 3 in their ranks.
Just one problem. Those officers didn't have a proper locker room until now. Pamela Osborne joins us with a look at the upgrade. Pam.
Well, you know, this is all about creating a functional space, one that worked for them. And this is how much the last space just wasn't. Those officers say it would sometimes take 30 to 40 minutes for them to even get ready to go out on duty because of that tiny space that they were having to work out of. Now, that's not the case.
They had to find a place to put lockers.
Corporal Jessica Winward gave us a look at the bathroom turned ladies' locker room.
Original lockers.
That she used to share with 2 other officers.
I mean, they're large enough in which to hang some uniforms and put some gear. But we have a lot of uniforms, a lot of equipment.
It had other challenges as well. It was right across the hall from the interview room, which meant even if they could squeeze in, they couldn't always use it.
They were using that room. This door had to be locked and secured so that there was no access to this locker room because of guns and pepper spray.
That was then.
Created a separate bathroom. You can see now there's a stall. So we have privacy and everything.
This is now.
Beautiful sink and vanity area.
Every detail was thought of.
Whole new lockers.
Whitney Walton is just one of the people behind this transformation.
I saw the 3 women, you know, having to sit on a toilet to put their boots on. I was like, oh no, as a woman in law enforcement, no, you deserve better.
Before Walton became a security coordinator for Marathon Petroleum, she spent 23 years working her way up the ranks with Detroit Police. Marathon helped fund the new ladies' locker room, and Patty Kukula with the Detroit Public Safety Fund helped with the rest.
Our officers are facing so much danger every day now, and they're leaving their families. And if they can feel that there's a little bit of home here and that they're cared for, I mean, that's the least we can do.
There are 3 female officers on staff, and now plenty of room for more women to join.
This department is very much like a family, so we often address each other as brother and sister and so forth. It'd be great to have some more sisters here. I wouldn't mind that at all.
And there certainly is the room. Planet Fitness also helped by donating some of the items that you saw in that locker room. And that wasn't the only area that saw a transformation. That communal break room used to just have a microwave. Now there's an entire functioning kitchen in there, a stove, an oven, as well as a refrigerator, and now a big conference table where they can gather around and have meals together and kind of build on that family feel at the department here, which, by the way, they are looking for more officers, so check them out. Reporting live in Melvindale, I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
A lot of changes in a lot of ways. All right, Pam.